Hey everybody, my name's Chris, and this is gonna be a journey on my first job at Burger King to where I'm at now, which is a senior systems administrator working for a large healthcare organization, working from home 100% full-time. So where does it all begin? My first job was Burger King in Imperial Beach. That was, 5 miles from the beach in Southern California. I worked there for a couple years, from 1992 to 1994, something like that. Within that time, I was still going to high school, and I had my daughter when I was 16, turning 17, so I was young. I had supportive parents, and they helped me a lot with my daughter and with helping me with my career. And I'll go into that in a little bit. But my first job being Burger King, I love it. I tell people to this day that, there's nothing wrong with working fast food. You learn a lot. I had a really good manager. Her name was Bernice, and I don't remember her last name. She was a really good first manager for me to have. She had structure, and she was disciplined, but supportive. But yeah, definitely worked there, cooked, ran the register, ran the drive-through, all that good stuff. And I think in this video, what I'm gonna do is just talk about all the jobs I had leading up to my first tech job. 1992-94, I was working Burger King. 1994 came around, I got a job at the Navy Exchange, and that is a naval base hospital out in Balboa, California, where I worked as a sales associate. I sold stuff in a little gift shop in a hospital. I learned a little bit there, but at the same time, I also took a job as a sub-custodian for a school district. So I was working two jobs. In 1995, I started at Walmart. It was just down the road from the house. I could have walked there if I wanted, but I worked there for a couple of years. I remember I had the sporting goods department, but I started there and I was sales associate, worked registers, sold guns, sold ammo. And then I went to overnights there and I unloaded trucks, stacked pallets, pulled pallets around, and stocked the shelves, all that good stuff. And while I was working at Walmart, my parents helped pay for a trade school. It was I think it was a 6-month, or it might have been a 12-month, and it was 6 months electronics and 6 months troubleshooting and learning copier repair. So it was a trade school for copier repair, but it also included electronics and troubleshooting electronic components. I learned how to troubleshoot diodes and resistors and capacitors and all that good stuff. That set me up for my first technical job. But that RAIN technical training class, I don't remember. I think it was a couple $1,000s at the time. That class isn't even around anymore, or that school. But that really helped shape my technical abilities. But prior to that, I was into computers. I loved computers. My dad had a 486 DX266. Well, before that, we didn't have a computer. We had a Commodore 64. That's what it was. I just played games on it. My mom would get the magazines that we would get in the mail every once in a while, and there was always like a code for one of the games, and she would type up all the code for me, and I'd have this new game I can play all the time. That was really cool. And then I remember my dad buying that 486 DX266, and that was huge for me. I enjoyed it. I remember looking at the encyclopedias. It was amazing to me because we had all the physical encyclopedias and the books, sitting on the shelf, and then all of a sudden it's on these floppy disks, and it was digital, and it was cool. So I remember reading through all those a lot, and just learning a lot of computer stuff then. I was super young when those came out, but by this time I don't remember what kind of computers were out. I don't remember where I was at that point, but I was dabbling in computers 100%. So I'm working at Walmart. I'm taking this class after hours. Trying to get through all of it is a lot of work. It was hard. During that time that I was at that trade school, I think it was a 6-month course. But during the time, there was a copier company that would come in, and it was a huge global copier company, would come in periodically and try to hire and see if there's anybody worth hiring from the course, which would make sense because they've learned all the proper troubleshooting for copiers and electronics, etc. And they came down. I remember this company came down. There was 2 guys. They came down. They interviewed a few of us. Shortly after that interview, I was offered a job position, and so that job there was the start of all of my tech stuff. It wasn't directly in computers. It was copier repair, but in that video, I'll talk about how that morphed into more of a computer-based technical role or at least how it led up to it. So join me in the next episode of this journey.